So we've got quite an array here of strat and tele necks. I've been working a lot with the roasted maple, and I'm really surprised by it. And they get a neck in this quality with this kind of a flame, but it's still quite overcast dark. But you can see here the flames, how great they are. They really shine. And it's quite rare to get a roasted maple neck with these flames. I hope that you can see it. Zooming in on this strat neck. Yeah, can you see that quality? When you play your guitar, this is the view that you actually have. You're looking down on these flames. We have 3 strat necks. 3 strat replacement. All 3 are vintage, the same specs, about 9.5 to 10 inch radius, medium jumbo frets, 22 frets, and the only difference is we've got 2 of them roasted maple and 1 of them regular maple. All 3 are Canadian maple and are highly flamed. Let me take a look at the roasted maple. Since it is darker, you don't have the flames showing up as well as the regular light colored maple. But you can see the flames. Now you can see the flames. How highly figured this wood is. Really beautiful wood. See how much easier it is to see the flames because it is light. It's pretty dark outside. We've got a thunder shower coming up, so it's overcast. But actually this neck is not as figured, as highly figured as the roasted maple, but the roasted maple is darker, so you just simply don't see it that easily. Here, if I just turn it, now you can start getting a picture of it. I'm really happy with this roasted maple. It is much harder than the regular Canadian maple necks that I use, my Pearlvibe guitars. It's harder, it's lighter, and I feel it's more resonant. I feel that the necks sound better. Turn that there. This is a really handsome piece of wood. It's really hard to find these necks in this choice maple, roasted maple. Isn't it pretty? That's the angle you'll see when you're playing your guitar. You're going to look down at this angle. You'll be seeing this. So let me turn it over. What you have here is a Pau Ferro rosewood. And look at the way I'm holding it. It is really comfortable, but it's got enough meat, enough wood to give you tone. That's what you're looking for. You can make a neck thin, and you sacrifice tone. We don't want to sacrifice tone. We want tone, and we want a comfortable neck, and that we always wind up with this vintage C shape. It's the one I find best. There you go. There, you see those stripes? Highly figured wood. These are medium jumbo frets. I dressed them really well on the sides so that it's no snagging, comfortable. Now here's one in comparison. You see how the flames are much easier to see simply because the wood is lighter. This is a Canadian maple, 1-piece neck, truss rod in the back. Again, this is what I'm looking for. When I find a strat neck or a tele neck, I'm looking for these stripes to be as radiant as possible. See? This headstock is ready for one of my guitars. Pearlvibe. I think it's a green strat. Abalone green. Just watch the way you hold it. You can see it's comfortable. It is comfortable. But there's enough wood for tone. That's what you need. So I'm going to mosey on over to another, somewhat lighter in the color, roasted maple. Just a stunning neck. Stunning. The stripes are more and more evident. This is what you see when you play your guitar. Even the headstock's got stripes. Choice wood. Very hard to get. The rooster is keeping me company. I hope you can hear it. These are some tele necks. This one is goes on a green abalone guitar. Just took it off to refinish it, finish it up, polish it for a customer. I call this a lemon type tint. Very light, almost natural in color, highly figured wood. Not as highly figured as the other two or the other three. But this neck, it's a bit thinner than the other one. A bit thinner. Get the angle just right. Root up and down. The specs are the same. In contrast, we've got this beautiful tele neck in roasted maple. It's dark. But when you turn it around, you can see the stripes are there. That's what you're looking for. Well, that's what I'm looking for. So, I zoomed in. Take it that one. I just turn it around. See those stripes? Yeah. Very uniform up and down the neck. With really good lighting, this thing comes alive. And the fretboard is great. Pau Ferro, I think we call it Bolivian rosewood. The abalone dots, bone nut, cut perfectly. This one is going on a blue abalone tele. What do you think of this color? In contrast to the others, caramel. Butterscotch. Butterscotch. Pretty. Very pretty. All a matter of taste. What color you like, what color you prefer. This one, interesting. I took the shine off. This one is satin. It's got a nicer feel when you play it. This is a tele neck that, let me see. Oh yeah. And even the fretboard, the front side, has stripes. Which is not easy. You usually get them on the back, but here I get them on the back and the front. Turn that around. A little spot here that took in too much tint. You gotta try to get that, rub that out. High quality wood. The highest quality, in fact. Highest quality wood. So, let's go inside. I've got some necks that have just been put on guitars. I want you to see those. I've got some really damn beautiful necks to show. This headstock is also really highly figured. Can you see that? Highly figured headstock. This is an extremely comfortable neck. I like holding this. It just feels just right. I don't like my necks too thin. Okay, let's go inside. Here are the 3 strat necks we just looked at. Here we are. Oh yeah, you can see that they're highly figured, and it's beautiful wood, no doubt. There you go. Now, I don't want to brag, but just looking at this through my lens, I say, wow, what a neck. Some of the roasted maple really needs lighting so that you can see those flames. This one is just a very dark neck. If I move in, then you start seeing it. Okay. Now I want to show you something really special. This is an abalone top. Joe Barden pickup in the bridge position, and an old ESP, vintage sounding tele neck pickup. Nice combination. Now let's take a look at this thing. And here's the abalone top tele that I built. What I really like about this guitar is when you turn it around. Now I love this neck. I love the feel of this neck. I love the feel of it. Just great. And when you play it, you're looking at this. I could look at this all night. I sat and finished this to make it really comfortable. So uniformly striped, and under the right lighting, this thing really comes alive. Unfortunately, we have just simple lighting inside in my studio. It's not a place to take photographs. So, see that? There we go. Look at where that fits in your hand. Yep. Now that's just a beautiful neck. And what good is the beauty if you don't see it? But this is what you see when you're playing your guitar. And you go, there you go. Move on up. Locking tuners, of course. There you go. Just a great neck. One piece, and this neck sounds good. So you may ask, well, what is the difference between a roasted maple neck and a regular hard rock Canadian maple neck? What's the difference? Well, what they do, I think you can all understand it. Maple syrup, that's pretty sweet, and that grows in a maple tree. And that syrup is inside the pores of the maple wood. Okay, so now if you roast this dried wood, it's got to be dry, can't be wet. It's got to be completely stable and dry. And then you go the step further and roast it at a certain temperature to get the sugar within the pores of the wood, of the maple. They're very fine pores, but they're there. Get them to caramelize. The sugar turns brown. The sugar is crystallized and turns brown. And this is the roasted This is the roasting process. And here we have an ugly duckling in the middle there. I don't know if you can see it. You get so used to these beautiful flamed necks that you kind of forget what a good vintage normal neck. Now this is a vintage neck, fender neck from the late 60s. This is a V-shaped neck, regular hard rock maple. So here you can see the difference actually between the two. You see that difference? I hope this thing is focusing the way it should. This is a plain Jane. It's also V-shaped neck. This got more meat. Vintage C. I mean, it's like the difference between a Porsche and a VW. Yeah, here you've got the Porsche, and here you've got the Bug. Not putting it down. Good, stable neck. Also a good, stable neck. But here you're talking about every thousandth tree has this kind of a grain. So you're talking about rare wood. It's this wood in your cutlery and utensils and whatnot. This is where you see the back of the Stradivari violins. This is what you see, right? Okay. Not everyone wants to drive a Porsche. Not everyone wants to drive a Ferrari. Some people are completely satisfied, and all the power to you if that's what you want. But if you want something special, here it is. And it costs a lot more money simply because the wood is so damn hard to find. Second generation Pearlvibe. I learned a lot about building guitars with this guitar. You notice I've got aluminum bridges, saddles there. And I learned a lot. And I learned a lot about necks. And I would say this is the finest neck I've ever played. The finest neck. By far the finest. I would call this museum grade. Yeah, museum grade flamed maple. It is just extraordinary. This thing is not tinted. It's a one-piece neck with a skunk stripe in the back. But when you look down at it, you just feel special when you play this guitar, just by looking at that neck. Look at the top of it. White abalone pearl. Top, flamed. On the sides there with... I also got a B-bender in there. But highly figured. Yeah, we call this museum grade. Made in America G&L. One of the last ones that Leo built. He built it with these Z pickups that sound really good. But, okay, it's got a... This is very inexpensive guitar. But if you compare this guitar, so I'm just talking about the necks, it's got a very harsh feel because he's got a sharp edge here. The wood is just cut sharp. And so when you go up and down, you can feel the frets. Now this is a great guitar, but still, I got a little bit of weakness there. You can see how sharp that is? What I did here, remember that G&L where I said it's kind of harsh? Well, here, you zip up and down, you don't feel any frets because it's rounded here. It's rounded perfectly. So that's what I try to capture my other necks. I try to get this area right here, when you're playing it, to be smooth and round so that you barely feel the frets. Yeah, you barely feel them. They all look great. Finished guitar. This is how I do all my guitars. I do the electronics, the neck, final tuning up of the guitar, and then I go back, take the neck off, take the electronics out, and do one more finish and a polish job after playing a guitar for about a month. So actually the customer is getting a guitar that's been played for a month, broken in, but it looks brand new because it's been polished. And I just wanted to show you the neck. This neck sounds great and it feels great. And this guitar is called Crazy Diamond because it's Crazy Diamond Pink Floyd, because it's, of all the guitars, it shines the most. Crazy fan. I love the sound of this guitar, and I love the sound of the neck, and I love the feel of the neck. The wood is just, the combination is great. And I turned it to the headstock. We've got nice figuring there too. Yeah. To show you a little why I call it Crazy Diamond is it's just it shines. I found a special form of abalone that I don't think anyone has ever used. I've never seen anyone use this abalone before. It's my secret. And it gets this guitar to shine. This guitar is called Oklahoma Borderline. Oklahoma Borderline, this is in honor of Vince Gill, who himself is a fantastic Telecaster player and has such great tone. This is white abalone that I did an extensive staining job on the back of the abalone shell. Attached it, my secret method, and then I did the airbrushing on the top to give this effect. And here you see the roasted maple on the tele. So, take a quick view of what we're building, what we're working on. Got lots of strats here. Crazy Diamond. Hello, Crazy Diamond. Purple Rain. Signed by Ida Nielsen, Prince's bass player. Arlen Roth signed that one on the back. There's quite a few to be tested. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tour. I hope I was able to get across what I'm trying to do with my necks. The time I invest into them, getting them to feel good, getting just the right thickness, the right wood, choosing the right wood. I stick to the classic, to the vintage style, the vintage C shape. I like the medium jumbo frets. I don't like those little thin things that Leo had in the beginning on his old 50s Telecasters. Now I like the medium jumbos. They last longer, a little easier to bend. So it's just my idea. So the back there, that one was played and signed by Albert Lee himself. And here's an Albert Lee guitar with a very special pickguard. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Learn a little bit about what goes into building good or great necks. Thank you for watching.